In this video, we'll write the balanced net ionic equation for CaCO3 plus H2SO4, calcium carbonate plus sulfuric acid. The first thing we need to do with net ionic equations is balance the molecular equation. This is our molecular equation. It's already balanced, so that was easy. Next, we need to write the states for each substance. So if we look at a solubility table, we should check for calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate, right? Here's calcium, here's a carbonate. We go over and down. That I there, that means that it's insoluble. That means it's not going to dissolve, so we're going to write S. That's because it'll be a solid. Sulfuric acid, that's a strong acid. So that's going to dissolve, dissociate into its ions. We'll call that aqueous. Let's check calcium sulfate here as well. So calcium, here's the sulfate. So we go calcium over, down, and we see SS. That means that it's slightly soluble. Just a little bit of it will dissolve. When we do net ionic equations, we consider this slightly soluble to be insoluble. Again, since it's insoluble, put a little S after here for solid. That means it's not going to dissolve. It'll stay a solid. Carbon dioxide is a gas, and water, that's a liquid. So we have the states. Next, we'll split the strong electrolytes into their ions. That'll give us the complete ionic equation, sometimes called the total ionic equation. Calcium carbonate, since that's a solid, we don't split those apart in net ionic equations. It's just CaCO3. And I won't write the states now. I'll add that later. Hydrogen has a 1 plus ionic charge. It's in group 1. So we have 2 hydrogen ions. That's 2H plus ions. Plus the sulfate, this SO4 here, has a charge of 2 minus. That's a good one to remember. So we have our sulfate ion, SO4 2 minus. So those are the reactants in our net ionic equation. For the products, we have calcium sulfate. Again, this is a solid here. So for solids, CaSO4, we don't split those apart. We don't split gases apart either, or liquids. None of those things split apart. It's only the strong electrolytes, things with aqueous after it. So this is the total or complete ionic equation. Next, we cross out spectator ions. They're on both sides. So I'm looking for something that's the same in the reactants and the products. And I don't see anything that's the same. Everything is unique. So this is also considered to be the net ionic equation for CaCO3 plus H2SO4. I'll clean this up and add the states in, and then we'll have our net ionic equation for calcium carbonate plus sulfuric acid. And this is our net ionic equation for calcium carbonate plus sulfuric acid. The key here is to realize that when you have compounds that are insoluble or slightly soluble, they'll be written as solids, and we won't break those up in our net ionic equation. Same goes for gases and liquids. We don't split those up either. This is Dr. B, and thanks for watching.